Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is my 2019 Volkswagen GTI Rabbit Edition. I've had it for about 5 years now, put on close to 58,000 miles, and today we're going to go over the features that makes this particular trim very special, but also highly coveted. If you've been looking at buying a used Mark 7.5 GTI and you're seeing a Rabbit Edition pop up in your searches and you're wondering, what makes this car so special? Why is it more expensive on the used market than other GTIs I'm looking at, whether it's an S or an SE? Well, you've come to the right place because the Rabbit Edition provides a lot of incentives that, in my opinion, makes it a great value, but also a great enthusiast car at the end of the day. In fact, I loved this car so much when I saw it in the showroom that I maxed out my budget. I was looking at buying a used GTI, but I'm so glad I went with this, and I'm so glad that I almost emptied out my bank account. But anyway, if you guys are ready, I am ready. Let's dive right into this video to see what makes the Rabbit Edition such a great car even today, 5 years later. So let's begin with some fun facts. If you guys didn't know, back in 2019, the Rabbit Edition slopped between the S and the SE in the lineup. It was basically the best of both worlds. It had the affordability of the S, since this trim started just under $30,000, but it got some key features, more specifically safety features, that were only available on the SE, alongside the dynamic LED headlights, which most certainly modernizes the front fascia. And I have to say, even 5 years later, this car looks brand new. This generation has aged very well compared to the Mark 8, which I think has been such a downgrade. It just, to me, I don't know, like as a 7.5 owner, this to me is the pinnacle of what Volkswagen is all about, especially with the GTI. Also, as you can probably tell with this trim, you did get some sportier aesthetics that were only available on the Rabbit Edition for 2019. However, Volkswagen did come back with this look for 2021, and I'll get into that in a few minutes. Now, for the United States, only 3,000 of these were made. 1,000 in cornflower blue, 1,000 in Urano gray, 500 in white, and 500 in black. You had 1,500 in DSG and 1,500 in manual. I'm not going to say this is a collector's car by any means. However, when you are looking at buying one on the used market, if you're looking at a low mileage example, you're spending close to $25,000, if not more. They have retained their value, and that was not one of the reasons why I bought this car. I just love the cornflower blue color, but as time has gone on, it's most certainly paid off in the long run. Another fun fact that I want to go over with the Volkswagen GTI for 2019, and this is regardless of trim, is that most likely, if you find a clean example that wasn't modified or tuned, it's still under factory warranty. So in 2019, you got 6 years, 72,000 miles. This was all because of Dieselgate, and Volkswagen wanted to make it right with their customers. If you're looking at buying your first ever GTI, or maybe your first ever car, and you want something that is a bit more reliable but also has that warranty, take a look at the 2019 GTI. Maybe if there's any maintenance issues that will arise after purchasing, it might be covered under that warranty when you have to go to Volkswagen. So just something to keep in mind, definitely an incentive, and why I chose the GTI 5 years ago, because you weren't going to find anything better from the rival brands. Getting into the look of the Rabbit Edition, you did receive 18-inch Pretorias. They were wrapped in all-season tires from Bridgestone, which I have to say, those were horrible wheels. I swapped them from Michelin Pilot for all seasons, which almost immediately, I noticed a difference when it came to road noise, but also the grip in the corners. Most likely, you're not going to find a Rabbit Edition 5 years later that's still wrapped in those Bridgestones. But if you do, if there's that one car that still has those factory wheels, definitely go with Michelin's for sure. Then for the side profile, you did receive gloss black side mirror caps, but more importantly, you did get blind spot detection, which wasn't available for the S. That's one of the safety features that you could receive here with the Rabbit Edition that was only available on the SE and Autobahn. Then as you make your way around to the back, you also got a gloss black spoiler, which again provides a nice color contrast on this model. Maybe not so for the Rabbit Edition that was in black, but most certainly for the white, cornflower blue, and Urano gray. These three aesthetic features, such as the gloss black side mirror caps, the gloss black rear spoiler, and the 18-inch Pretorias, made their way back onto the GTI in 2021, where you could put them on any color, whether it was red, white, black, or even cornflower blue, which at the time I was not very happy with Volkswagen, because I was told this was only one of 3,000, or actually one of 1,000 at the time. But in 2021, with the cornflower blue, you could only purchase it with a power moonroof, and you could not get the cloth plaid seats inside, retaining the rarity of this particular trim and this particular color. Then to show you guys what the dynamic LED lights look like up front, you also have cornering lights as well, providing a lot of visibility at night on dimly lit back roads or in adverse weather conditions. And then finally, just like with the SE and Autobahn trims and other models in the Volkswagen lineup at the time, and I still think they do this to this day in 2024, the Volkswagen emblem housed your safety systems up front, such as your frontal collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and pedestrian monitoring. You also received rear cross traffic alert, and as I previously mentioned, blind spot detection. These features alone is why I chose the Rabbit Edition, because I wanted to have those extra safety systems in place just to give me that assurance on a longer drive or on my weekday commutes. To me, this provided a lot more value to the car outside of the exterior design, where it just made a bit more sense than going with the S. Then before we step inside, you do receive keyless entry with the Rabbit Edition. Let's lock it and just approach the GTI, key in hand, and it unlocks. Let's check out the features for the interior. With keyless entry, you also received a push button start. With the Rabbit Edition, you did receive a 6.5-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. You did not get the Fender audio system, and at the time, journalists were not happy that you didn't receive the larger 8-inch screen with onboard navigation that you get in the Autobahn trim. Some journalists thought the Rabbit Edition didn't make any sense. I completely disagree, having owned this car for almost 5 years now. The fact that you do get the sportier design, you get the safety systems, and the fact that this car just really is a great value under $30,000 is why I purchased it. Having a larger infotainment system or lack thereof wasn't a concern and wasn't a negative or takeaway. Now, for a car under $30,000, this infotainment system is very responsive, but also rather immersive, especially just for a cheap infotainment system like this, where you can check out your fuel consumption, what is taking up most of your energy, looking at your fuel range, but also the fact that you could go through all these different menus and there just was no lagging at all. That was something that you would not find in this market, especially back in 2019. Also below, you didn't get dual zone climate control or automatic climate control, and I remember people complaining about that too. But again, remember, this is a sub $30,000 car, but you did get 3-level heated seats. Also tucked away, and this was a criticism for the Mark 7.5, was that you only received one USB input in the most inconvenient spot possible, where it's in this little cubby here, and it really wasn't easy to access. So I'm glad to see that at least with the Mark 8, you do have 2 USB inputs now. Also, of course, you do get the 12-volt outlet and 2 cup holders. But ultimately, it was the cloth plaid seats that I think has really defined this car, and it really gives this hatchback such a unique look for the interior. The bolstering, the grip, and the support is fantastic for a car of this class and also for its price point. This is one of the reasons why I think a lot of buyers did choose the S and the Rabbit Edition back in 2019, just because it is unique, but also for cloth upholstery, very comfortable and very supportive. I've taken this car out on some road trips a number of times, and there's no back pain, there's no fatigue or tiredness associated being behind the wheel of the GTI, which is why I would definitely recommend going with a GTI with the cloth seats, which I would never recommend for any other manufacturer. I would say go with the more premium quality interior. But with the Rabbit Edition, these seats were such a great fit for this model. Now, they were manually adjustable. Of course, with the SE and the Autobahn trim, you could get power adjustable seats. But honestly, after 5 years of ownership, that has not been anything that I have been complaining about at all with this car. Then quickly taking a look at the second row seating area. This is kind of rare for a car under $30,000 at the time. Passengers did receive 2 air vents mounted in the center, but no USB input or 12-volt outlet, which I have found to be very inconvenient, especially on those longer drives when I have passengers along with me on those road trips. However, my passengers do get a center armrest with 2 cup holders, and once again, for a car in this particular class and price range, that is kind of unheard of. And up top, they also get their own reading lamps as well. Nice little touch. Then to wrap up, what makes the Rabbit Edition so great is that just like every other GTI for the 2019 model year, you got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine producing 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, with your choice between a 6-speed manual and 7-speed DSG. This is enough power for a lot of buyers, especially if you're just looking for a stock powertrain. You don't want to mod it at all. Also, another thing too is that with this suspension, it's very dailyable. Of course, you're not going to get the DCC system like you would have received in the Autobahn trim, but honestly, the GTI does mimic a Grand Tour in a way. Even though it is a hatchback, it's very comfortable. You can drive it on long road trips. You're not going to feel fatigued, but also it's family friendly. And a lot of vehicles in this market that do have sports tuned suspensions are going to be rough. It's going to be very abusive on your body. But with the GTI, it's a completely different story. The fact that it has this ability to be a jack of all trades while also still being fun to drive is what makes it special at the end of the day. Also, of course, it has a bit more power than the GT86 of its time, also the Honda Civic Si, and I still think that because of this suspension, it's more family friendly but also conducive for people who aren't necessarily enthusiasts compared to what you're going to find in a VA generation WRX. And then for those who are enthusiasts, for those who do want to modify your GTI, there's plenty of aftermarket support. So the possibilities are endless with the Rabbit Edition, but I think really what it comes down to is that value for the price, the fact that it does look a bit different compared to the other trims in 2019. And also, of course, if you are somebody who didn't like the stock wheels on the 2019 GTI, you didn't want to have the body color side mirror caps, with the Rabbit Edition, that solves all of those problems, and also you don't have to spend any extra money at the end of the day for aftermarket parts. So, to me, I think what the Rabbit Edition is giving you, even today, 5 years later, is a special car with a lot of potential if you are somebody looking for a fun daily driver that you can modify, tune, and really just experience this car to its fullest. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. Also, let me know in the comment section below if you want to see any more content on the Mark 7.5 GTI. Guys, thanks again so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.